So my very good friend from college, Aniko, hi there, she inspired this post that I was writing for my blog, thestrategicrecruiter.com. And then I've been sitting on this blog for maybe a week and I'm editing and going back and being anal about revisions like English majors do. And I thought, why not make a video to accompany the blog and maybe share some other aspects of what you do? So this is what that is. And essentially, her question to me was, what do you do as a sourcer? And is it the same as when you were recruiting? So typically, when people think of the word source and sourcing, they're thinking of, a different industry altogether. They're thinking of procurement, thinking of suppliers and negotiating agreements, and someone that would maybe work for Walmart in a supply chain operation or something like that. But source, in the just most basic meaning of the word, of course, is to find out where something can be obtained. That's when it's a verb. So talent sourcers or candidate sourcers, we are looking for talent. We're trying to find out where the best administrative assistants or the best engineers or the best doctors or the best teachers can be found. So essentially what I do is candidate research. So in putting together a blog about what I did, I decided to use an acronym. It makes it simple and sweet, and define what a sourcer is in 7 mere bullet points, which is hard to do. So starting with the S, a sourcer is swift. Okay, you have to be fast moving as a sourcer. Essentially, you're working either on a specific job opening for a company, or you're working on what we call a pipeline requisition, where you just need an infinite number of this type of individual. So you're sourcing and looking for talent, you're scouring the web, you're using other resources, even word of mouth. Wherever you can find a good candidate, that's where you're going to look. So you have to be fast. Every minute matters, because not only are you looking for top talent and competing with companies outside of your own for the same talent, you're also oftentimes competing against your own internal colleagues for this talent. So you have to move fast, and you have to be very strategic, I think, as well. That starts with an S too. The O in sourcer stands for organized, and I added in optimistic, because you have to be organized and you have to be hopeful, because you do so much work, you exert so much energy just looking for people that kind of have the right profile on paper in black and white, and then you talk to them and maybe it's somewhat there, and then you move them on to the qualification rounds, and then it's, maybe a bust. So you have to be optimistic when those things happen, and be realistic as well. But we're not to the R yet in Sorcerer, so let me just stay with the O's, okay? So organized and optimistic. You have to be unafraid. That's my U in Sorcerer. You must be fearless, because there will be so much thrown at you from objections from your candidate, which we call them passive candidates, or people who are not yet even interested in your job. You're basically doing a cold call or a sales call for someone who may or may not even be interested in your product. So you can't be afraid of that. You can't be afraid of rejection or hitting a brick wall as it relates to finding good candidates. I remember when I was at the #1 place to work in the USA, we had so many sourcers, and I came in so late in the game in terms of this company's maturity, there was nobody within a 100-mile radius who hadn't interviewed with us at least twice. So there were no fresh leads, so to speak. So you always have to get really, really, really down and dirty and just deal with it head on. Cannot be afraid. Don't be scared. All right, so the R in sourcer, for me, it could mean a lot of things. Actually, I get 2 R's, right? Okay, I just thought of that. The first R, it stands for real. Like, in my experience, being authentic is critical to every email, every phone call, because, I want to connect with my career seeker, my passive candidate. I want to make sure that I'm listening to what it is that's important to them. And I have to be real and know that at the end of this 15-minute call, they still may not be interested in company A or company B, whatever company I'm representing. They very well may not be interested, or they may be interested, but the timing is wrong, or the logistics are wrong, or family things are going on and they don't have the focus to really invest in the process. So, keep it real. I mean, it's just not always going to go your way as a sourcer. But for me, being authentic and upfront with the candidate or the passive candidate, that is what I pride myself on. And I try to make my interaction with my career seeker or my passive candidate, I really want to make it different so that they can say, wow, she's different. She's not like the other recruiter who tried to shove a job down my throat or tried to force me to interview, or who was just talking. Like, some recruiters and sourcers, they do too much of the talking. I try to limit my talking to maybe 30% of the time when I'm asked questions and when I'm popping in trying to probe for more information. So that's my art in keeping it real. I'm keeping it real long-winded. I need to speed this up. Okay, so the C in sourcer for me is definitely creative. You have to be creative in this job. The basis for how I learned to source back in the day, maybe 2006 or so, was through a company called Airs, and they had a certified internet recruiter certification, and they had an advanced certified internet recruiter certification, and then they had a certified diversity recruiter certification. And I got all three of those. I was working at a great university at that time, and they paid for like the full package, the full Monty. I could take all the courses I wanted with Airs, and I did. I loved everything about sourcing. And so they taught us how to source using Boolean strings. And this is something that even computer science, probably first year students at this point might learn about in passing, but Boolean strings allow you to create a string of requirements. Hopefully I'll be able to enter some graphic here, but put in requirements so that I can pull and find and basically scour the deep web and unearth some resumes. Now, this was before the day of LinkedIn, before the days of Indeed, where they have a filtered search where all you have to do is put the word you want in the box and it's done for you. So this is a little bit old school, but that's how I learned how to source, and that's really where my passion for sourcing came in almost 10 years ago. So got to be creative, because times are a-changing, and so I have to know that every search won't be a Boolean string. Every search won't be just a click and drop down menu. Like, I have to get creative about where I'm sourcing, and I'm going to do a blog, actually, now that I think about it, to talk about the top 5 places that I source candidates outside of some of the more popular products that are on the market, which I won't name. But yeah, I'll put that out there, and you can let me know if you're using some of those sites too, if you're one of my fellow sourcers. So the E in sourcer is energetic. Had you noticed? Sleep much? Probably not. You need energy, because not only are you up at all hours of the day and night, actually wearing your eyeballs out, looking on the internet for talent, skimming resumes, going to different blog sites, reviewing Q&A from engineers, going to the sites where they go when they need help. So you're being creative. You've got to have the energy to sustain that. And then to top it off, when they finally reply to your email or your phone call, then you've got to engage them. And you've got a very short window of time, probably a 10 to 15 minute phone screening. If you have the volume that I've been dealing with, you have 10 or 15 minutes to make an impression and be the first face of the company and make them feel like, wow, I really wouldn't mind talking to somebody else at this company. This person seemed like they really liked it. They seem passionate, good energy. I want to move forward, right? Have you ever talked to just a dry recruiter? I have. I've been like, why are you so dry? Like, I don't understand. Like, have some life in your voice, like before the days of YouTube, when we couldn't put a face to the name, you had to just work the phone. Like, you had to, even before email was even in play. I mean, when I was an intern at Castle Rock Entertainment in 1990, I've already given you too much. But anyway, in the 1900s, when I was an intern, there was no real email. I think there was an intercompany kind of communication system that I wasn't emailing anybody on the outside world, certainly not from my email address. And when a candidate applied, which is put their resume in an envelope, folded it 3 times, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, mailed it, I got a mail bucket as an intern. I brought it in, I sorted it, pulled out the resumes, used my letter opener, opened up the resumes, pulled out the letters, and then we had a typewriter and on a little postcard, which was pre-printed on one side, I would actually hand type the person's mailing address. And on the other side, it would say, thank you for your resume. We received it. We will reach out to you in 14 days if there is an opportunity. So, I don't even know how this relates to energetic, but I'm sure that there was a segue that led me down that path. The final R is for resilient. There will be major wins, but also major losses as a sourcer. From the candidate who pulls out at the end of the recruitment due to a counteroffer or to some work visa that isn't granted or an interview gone wrong, or just, a candidate who thinks that they can relocate and then upon talking to their spouse, upon further prodding, the spouse is not feeling that plan. So you have to be resilient and bounce back. Bounce back, bounce back. Oh no, that was lean back. Maybe I should make a song called Bounce Back, Bounce Back. Yeah, because that's what you do all day. And it's funny because the longer I've been in recruitment, it seems that the smaller the taps on your back become, like job well done. When I started, you would celebrate like, yes, we fill this position. This is going to be a major contributor to our team. They're going to affect the organization in this way and that way. And hooray, let's go out for drinks or whatever. Like, let's celebrate. Not anymore. Like, it's just like you pat yourself on the back and then you keep going. You cannot stop. You actually have to be relentless. That should be another R. Sourcer. So I'll add another R to that. You have to be relentless because it's not a game out here. So anyway, the bottom line is that though my acronym is not all inclusive, it definitely just shows you how varied this role is as a sourcer. And I hope that my friend Aniko sees this blog and gets her 15 minutes of internet fame. Yay! Thank you for asking me. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll definitely come back with more content. If there's anything you want to know about sourcing, recruiting, career seekers, anything you want to know, please feel free, leave a comment or a response video, and I'd be happy to reply. Thanks for tuning in. Signing out for the Strategic Recorder. The Strategic Recorder. I guess that's a mix between recruiter and reporter. Signing off.